Are you ready to unlock a superpower you never knew you possessed? A power that can reveal the true nature of everyone around you. A power that puts you firmly in control of your own destiny. It's the power of indifference. Not the apathetic, uncaring kind, but a deliberate, focused indifference, a tool for self, discovery, and understanding. Think about it. How do people react when you don't give them what they want? When you don't jump at their every beck and call, their reaction. That's the gold. That's where the truth lies. Indifference isn't about being cold. It's about being clear. It's about prioritizing yourself. It's about observing without attachment. It's about understanding the game without being played by it. Imagine a world where you are immune to manipulation, where you see people's motivations with crystal clarity, where you are the master of your own domain. That world is within your reach, and it starts with embracing the power of indifference. Let's dive in. We've all been there, eager to please, bending over backwards to accommodate others, sacrificing our own needs and desires for the sake of approval. But what does it get us? Often, resentment, exhaustion, and a nagging feeling that we're being taken advantage of. Why? Because people sense desperation. They sense a need for validation, and that makes you vulnerable. Indifference, on the other hand, projects strength. It projects self-sufficiency. It says, I am complete within myself, I don't need your approval, and that is incredibly attractive. Not in a romantic sense necessarily, but in a fundamental human way. People are drawn to strength. They are drawn to those who are not easily swayed. Think of a magnet. One side attracts, the other repels. Indifference is like the repelling side. It pushes away those who are not genuine, those who seek to exploit, those who drain your energy. But it also attracts those who are authentic, those who respect boundaries, those who value genuine connection. It's a filter, a powerful filter that separates the wheat from the chaff. But how do you cultivate this indifference? It's not about becoming a heartless robot. It's about shifting your perspective. It's about understanding your own worth. First, you need to identify your own needs and desires. What truly matters to you? What are your negotiables? What are you willing to compromise on? And what are you not? Once you have clarity on these things, you can begin to set boundaries. Boundaries are the foundation of indifference. They are the lines you draw in the sand that say, this far and no further. And here's the key. You must enforce those boundaries. Consistently, without apology, people will test you. They will push your limits. They will try to guilt you into giving in. Don't. Every time you compromise your boundaries, you weaken your position. You send the message that you are not serious, that you can be manipulated. But every time you stand your ground, you strengthen your resolve. You send the message that you are not to be trifled with. And that is incredibly empowering. It's not about being stubborn, it's about being self-respectful. It's about honoring your own needs and desires. It's about understanding that you are worthy of respect and that you deserve to be treated with kindness and consideration. Now, let's talk about how indifference reveals the true nature of others. Imagine you have a friend who constantly asks for favors but never reciprocates. You're always there for them, but they're never there for you. You start to practice indifference. You stop jumping at their every request. You start saying no more often. What happens if they are a true friend? They will understand. They will respect your boundaries. They will perhaps even reflect on their own behavior and try to be more supportive. But if they are not a true friend, if they are simply using you, they will become angry, resentful, and perhaps even try to guilt you into giving in. Their reaction, that's the truth. That's the revelation. That's the moment you see their true colors. Indifference is like a spotlight. It illuminates the hidden motives and agendas of those around you. It shows you who is genuinely invested in your well-being and who is simply trying to take advantage of you. And once you see that, you can make informed decisions about who you want to keep in your life and who you need to let go of. This isn't about being cynical. It's about being realistic. It's about protecting yourself from toxic relationships and energy-draining interactions. It's about surrounding yourself with people who uplift you, who support you, and who genuinely care about your happiness. Now, let's talk about the power of indifference in the context of criticism. We all face criticism. Some of it constructive, some of it not. But how do you react to it? Do you take it to heart? Do you dwell on it for days? Do you let it undermine your confidence? If so, you're giving your power away. You're allowing others to control your emotions and your self-worth. Indifference, in this context, is about detachment. It's about recognizing that criticism is simply someone else's opinion and that you don't have to accept it as truth. It's about understanding that everyone has their own biases and perspectives, and that their criticism may be more about them than it is about you. It's about developing a strong sense of self-worth that is not dependent on the approval of others. When you are indifferent to criticism, you are free to evaluate it objectively. You can consider whether there is any merit to it, and if so, you can use it to improve. But if it is simply malicious or unfounded, you can dismiss it without giving it a second thought. You don't have to defend yourself. You don't have to justify your actions. You don't have to engage in arguments or debates. You can simply acknowledge the criticism and move on. This doesn't mean you should ignore all feedback. It means you should be selective about whose feedback you value, and that you should not let the opinions of others define you. It's about being your own judge, your own jury, your own executioner. You are the ultimate authority on your own life, and you have the right to make your own decisions, regardless of what others may think. Now, let's talk about the power of indifference in the context of attraction. We're often told that we need to be constantly available, constantly eager, constantly trying to impress the object of our affection. But what if the opposite is true? What if indifference is actually more attractive? Think about it. What is more intriguing? Someone who is desperate for your attention, or someone who is confident and self-assured? Someone who is always chasing after you, or someone who is focused on their own goals and passions? Indifference, in this context, is about not being needy. It's about not seeking validation from others. It's about being content with yourself, regardless of whether or not someone else is interested in you. It's about having your own life, your own interests, your own friends, and not making someone else the center of your universe. When you are indifferent, you project confidence, you project self-respect, you project the message that you are a valuable person, and that you are not willing to settle for just anyone. And that is incredibly attractive. It creates a sense of mystery, a sense of intrigue, a sense that you are not easily won over. People are naturally drawn to what they cannot easily have. They are drawn to those who are not afraid to be themselves. Indifference is not about playing games. It's about being authentic. It's about being true to yourself. It's about not pretending to be someone you're not in order to impress someone else. It's about being comfortable in your own skin and letting others see you for who you truly are. If they are attracted to that, great. If they're not, that's okay too. You don't need everyone to like you. You just need to like yourself. Now, let's talk about the power of indifference in the context of manipulation. Manipulators are masters of emotional manipulation. They know how to push your buttons, how to play on your insecurities, how to guilt you into doing what they want. But indifference is their kryptonite. When you are indifferent to their tactics, they lose their power. They can't control you if you don't care about their opinions or their threats. Indifference, in this context, is about emotional detachment. It's about not reacting to their provocations. It's about not getting drawn into their dramas. It's about recognizing their manipulative behavior for what it is and refusing to play their game. When they try to guilt you, you simply acknowledge their feelings and move on. When they try to threaten you, you simply call their bluff. When they try to play the victim, you simply offer them your sympathy and then disengage. The key is to remain calm, objective, and unreactive. Don't let them see that they are getting to you. Don't let them see that they are affecting your emotions. The more indifferent you are, the more powerless they become. Eventually, they will realize that their tactics are not working, and they will move on to someone else who is more susceptible to their manipulation. Indifference is not about being unkind. It's about protecting yourself from emotional abuse. It's about setting boundaries and enforcing them. It's about refusing to be a pawn in someone else's game. Now, let's talk about the power of indifference in the context of your own goals and dreams. We often let the opinions of others hold us back from pursuing our passions. We worry about what they will think, what they will say, whether they will approve. But indifference is the key to unlocking your potential when you are indifferent to the opinions of others. You are free to pursue your dreams without fear of judgment or criticism. You are free to take risks, to experiment, to fail, and to learn from your mistakes. You are free to be yourself, to express your creativity, to live your life on your own terms. Indifference, in this context, is about self-belief. It's about trusting your own instincts and following your own path. It's about knowing that you are capable of achieving great things, regardless of what others may think. It's about having the courage to pursue your passions, even if they are unconventional or unpopular. It's about being willing to stand alone, if necessary, and to defend your vision. When you are indifferent to the opinions of others, you are unstoppable. You are a force of nature. You are the master of your own destiny. So, how do you cultivate this power of indifference? It's not something that happens overnight. It takes practice, patience, and a willingness to challenge your own beliefs. Here are a few tips to get you started. 1. Identify your values. What truly matters to you? What are your negotiables? Once you know what you stand for, it becomes easier to prioritize your time and energy. 2. Set boundaries. Draw clear lines in the sand. Let people know what you are willing to tolerate and what you are not, and then enforce those boundaries consistently. 3. Practice self-care. Take care of your physical, emotional, and mental well-being. When you are feeling strong and healthy, it becomes easier to be indifferent to the negativity of others. 4. Challenge your negative thoughts. When you find yourself worrying about what others think, ask yourself, is this thought helpful? Is it true? Is it serving me? If the answer is no, let it go. 5. Focus on your own goals. Put your energy into pursuing your passions and achieving your dreams. The more focused you are on your own path, the less you will care about what others are doing or saying. 6. Celebrate your successes. Acknowledge your accomplishments. No matter how small, this will help you build confidence and self-esteem, which will make it easier to be indifferent to criticism. 7. Surround yourself with supportive people. Spend time with people who uplift you, who encourage you, and who believe in you. Avoid those who drain your energy or bring you down. 8. Practice gratitude. Take time each day to appreciate the good things in your life. This will help you cultivate a positive mindset, which will make it easier to be indifferent to negativity. 9. Learn to say no. Don't be afraid to decline requests that you don't have the time or energy for. It's okay to prioritize your own needs. 10. Forgive yourself. We all make mistakes. Don't beat yourself up over them. Learn from them and move on. Indifference is not about being perfect. It's about being human. It's about accepting yourself, flaws and all. It's about recognizing that you are worthy of love, respect, and happiness, regardless of what others may think. It's about living your life on your own terms and not letting anyone else define you. Embrace the power of indifference and watch your life transform. You will become more confident, more resilient, more authentic, and more fulfilled. You will attract the right people into your life, and you will repel the wrong ones. You will achieve your goals, and you will live your dreams. You will be the master of your own destiny. So, are you ready to unlock your superpower? Are you ready to embrace the power of indifference? The choice is yours, but I urge you, don't wait any longer. Start today. Start now. Start by identifying one area of your life where you are giving your power away. Where are you letting the opinions of others control you? Where are you sacrificing your own needs and desires for the sake of approval? Once you have identified that area, commit to making a change. Commit to setting a boundary, to saying no to prioritizing yourself. And then, watch what happens. Observe the reactions of those around you. Pay attention to their behavior. See their true colors. You may be surprised by what you discover, but most importantly, you will discover your own strength, your own resilience, your own power. You will discover the power of indifference, and that is a power that will change your life forever. Now, you might be thinking, this sounds great, but is it really practical? Can I really just become indifferent to everything and everyone? The answer is, of course, no. Indifference is not about becoming a sociopath. It's not about shutting down your emotions or becoming completely detached from the world. It's about finding a balance. It's about being discerning. It's about choosing where to invest your energy and where to conserve it. It's about understanding that you cannot please everyone. You cannot be everything to everyone, and you shouldn't even try. Your energy is a precious resource. Don't waste it on people who don't appreciate you, on situations that drain you, or on things that don't align with your values. Instead, focus your energy on the things that truly matter to you. Focus on your relationships, your goals, your passions, and your own well-being. Learn to prioritize, learn to delegate, learn to say no, and most importantly, learn to be okay with disappointing people. It's impossible to make everyone happy, and trying to do so will only lead to exhaustion and resentment. Sometimes you have to choose yourself. You have to put your own needs first. You have to do what's best for you, even if it means disappointing someone else. This doesn't make you a bad person. It makes you a healthy person. It makes you a person who respects themselves and their own boundaries. And in the long run, it will make you a better friend, partner, and family member. Because you will be coming from a place of strength and authenticity, rather than a place of neediness and desperation. So embrace the power of indifference, but do so with wisdom and discernment. Use it as a tool to protect yourself, to empower yourself, and to live your life on your own terms. But don't let it turn you into a cold, heartless person. Remember to be kind, compassionate, and empathetic. The world needs more kindness, not less, but kindness should not come at the expense of your own well-being. Find the balance, be indifferent where you need to be, and be compassionate where you can be, and watch your life transform. Now, let's address some common concerns about indifference. One concern is that it will make you seem arrogant or aloof, that people will perceive you as being uncaring or insensitive. This is a valid concern. And it's important to be mindful of how you are presenting yourself. Indifference is not about being rude or disrespectful. It's about being confident and self-assured. It's about knowing your worth and not feeling the need to constantly seek validation from others. There's a difference between being indifferent and being a jerk. Don't be a jerk. Be polite, be respectful, be considerate. But don't be a pushover. Don't let people walk all over you. Stand your ground, enforce your boundaries, and don't apologize for prioritizing yourself. Another concern is that indifference will damage your relationships. That people will feel neglected or unloved if you are not constantly showering them with attention. This is also a valid concern, and it's important to communicate your needs and boundaries to your loved ones. Explain to them that you are not trying to push them away. You are simply trying to create more space for yourself and to protect your own energy. Assure them that you still care about them and that you are still there for them when they need you. But also explain that you cannot be everything to them all the time, that you need to prioritize your own well-being in order to be a good friend, partner, or family member. If they truly care about you, they will understand. They will respect your boundaries, and they will appreciate your honesty. If they don't, then maybe they are not the right people for you. The truth is, healthy relationships are built on mutual respect, trust, and understanding. They are not built on neediness, codependency, or constant attention. Indifference can actually strengthen your relationships by creating more space for authenticity and genuine connection. When the path to self-discovery is often fraught with unexpected turns, demanding a constant re-evaluation of our perceptions and beliefs. We are conditioned from a young age to seek validation, to crave acceptance, and to fear the sting of rejection. This inherent need for external approval shapes our interactions, often leading us to mold ourselves into versions that we believe others will find palatable. We become chameleons, adapting to the expectations of those around us, sacrificing authenticity in the pursuit of belonging. But what happens when we dare to step outside this carefully constructed facade? What happens when we choose indifference? Not the callous, uncaring indifference that stems from apathy, but a deliberate indifference, a conscious decision to detach from the opinions and judgments of others, to prioritize our own internal compass above the clamor of external voices. This is not an easy path. It requires a profound shift in perspective, a willingness to confront the deeply ingrained anxieties that whisper insidious doubts in our ear. We fear that indifference will be interpreted as arrogance, as a rejection of connection, as a sign of weakness. We worry that it will isolate us, leaving us adrift in a sea of loneliness. Yet, it is precisely in this space of perceived isolation that true self-discovery begins. When we cease to seek validation from others, we create the space for our own authentic selves to emerge. We become free to explore our passions, to pursue our dreams, without the burden of external expectations weighing us down. Indifference, in this context, becomes a mirror, reflecting back the true nature of those around us. When we no longer offer the validation they crave, their masks begin to slip. Their true motivations, their hidden agendas, their insecurities and fears are laid bare. We see them not as they present themselves to the world, but as they truly are. This can be a jarring experience. We may be confronted with the realization that some of the people we have held closest are not who we thought they were. We may discover that their affection was conditional, their support self-serving, their loyalty fragile. But even in this disillusionment, there is a profound opportunity for growth. By understanding the motivations of others, we can make more informed choices about who we allow into our lives. We can cultivate relationships based on genuine connection, mutual respect, and unconditional support, rather than on the fleeting and often deceptive currency of validation. Moreover, the practice of indifference allows us to cultivate a deeper understanding of ourselves. By observing how others react to our detachment, we gain valuable insights into our own patterns of behavior. We may discover that we have been unconsciously seeking approval in ways that are detrimental to our well-being. We may realize that we have been allowing ourselves to be manipulated or exploited by those who prey on our need for validation. The journey of self-discovery is not a linear one. There will be times when we stumble, when we succumb to the temptation of seeking external approval. There will be moments of doubt when we question the wisdom of our chosen path. But it is in these moments of vulnerability that we must remember the power of indifference. We must remind ourselves that true strength lies not in seeking the approval of others, but in embracing our own authenticity. We must trust our own internal compass, even when it leads us down unfamiliar paths. Consider the story of a young woman who spent her life striving to please everyone around her. She excelled in school, not because she loved learning, but because she craved the praise of her teachers. She pursued a career that her parents deemed prestigious, even though it brought her no joy. She dated men who met her family's expectations, even though she felt no genuine connection with them. Her life was a carefully constructed performance designed to elicit the approval of others. But beneath the surface of her seemingly perfect existence, she felt a gnawing sense of emptiness. She was living a life that was not her own, a life dictated by the expectations of others. One day, stumbled upon a book that spoke of the power of indifference. Intrigued, she began to experiment with detaching from the opinions of others. She stopped seeking validation from her parents, her colleagues, and her friends. She started making choices based on her own desires, her own values, her own intuition. At first, her actions were met with resistance. Her parents were disappointed that she was no longer pursuing the path they had envisioned for her. Her colleagues were confused by her newfound assertiveness. Her friends felt threatened by her independence. But as continued to embrace indifference, something remarkable began to happen. She discovered a wellspring of inner strength that she never knew she possessed. She realized that she was capable of making her own decisions, of charting her own course, of living a life that was truly authentic. Moreover, she began to attract people into her life who valued her for who she was, not for who they wanted her to be. She formed deep, meaningful connections with individuals who shared her values, her passions, and her vision for the future. Story is a testament to the transformative power of indifference. It is a reminder that true self-discovery begins when we dare to step outside the confines of external expectations and embrace our own authentic selves. The world often encourages conformity, urging us to fit neatly into predefined boxes. It whispers that our worth is determined by our achievements, our possessions, our social status. It tells us that we must constantly strive to be better, to be more, to be someone else. But the truth is that we are already enough. We are already worthy of love, of respect, of belonging. We do not need to earn our worth through external validation. We simply need to embrace our own unique selves with all our imperfections and vulnerabilities. This is not to say that we should become completely detached from the world around us. It is not to advocate for isolation or apathy. Rather, it is to encourage a conscious and deliberate detachment from the opinions and judgments of others, a prioritization of our own internal compass above the clamor of external voices. It is to recognize that true happiness lies not in seeking the approval of others, but in living a life that is aligned with our own values, our own passions, and our own dreams. It is to understand that indifference, when practiced with intention and awareness, can be a powerful tool for self-discovery, for personal growth, and for creating a life that is truly authentic. So, dare to be indifferent. Dare to step outside the confines of external expectations. Dare to embrace your own unique self. You may be surprised at what you discover. You may find that the path to self-discovery leads you to a place of profound peace, joy, and fulfillment. You may realize that the greatest adventure of all is the journey of becoming your truest self. Let the reactions of others be a guide, a mirror reflecting their own inner landscapes, but never let them define your own. Your journey, your path, your true